We can do that. We're talking about
We will.
grilling at Huntsville Hamfest.
Grilling and chilling. It's smoked
Yeah,
sausage, so it's already cooked.
even better. All it needs to do is get some grill flavor on it. Get some of them lines. What do y'all think? You guys
And
like
it needs
grilling
a
meat products?
needs a cracker.
Yeah.
I like it on a cracker with little cheese.
Ah, we're talking about Kaneka sausage or deer sausage. Venison sausage is what Jim's talking about.
Well,
So
and Kaneka needs fire. Yes, grill
yeah.
marks in Kaneka, and it'll make you happy.
So if you guys haven't had the pleasure of joining us on a live stream on Monday Night Ham Nuggets, welcome. We're happy to have you here. This is a show where typically we have
Welcome.
no clue what we're doing, and we do it all together and we do it all live. And tonight we're going to talk about the situation with the DMR, the D star. We mentioned the D star word, yes, with the Yaesu Fusion or C4FM or whatever, because Yaesu digital modes change their name depending on which situation you use them in, even though they're still Yaesu digital mode. So it's either Wires X or Fusion or C4FM. And yes, I get the difference, and that's not funny if we get pedantic. Just roll with the joke, folks.
Just roll with it,
And
people.
yeah, so Jim's going to tell us a little bit about that tonight. But we were talking about 4 days in August, FDIA. I don't know if it's 4 days or 5 days. It depends on what day you get there. But if you are thinking about going to Huntsville Hamfest, book your campsite or your glamping tent or your RV spot or your cabin on Montesano Mountain, which is a POTA site and a SOTA site now because they are running out. I got mine. I'm at site 3. Y'all are welcome to come by and say hi. And I know a bunch of you in the chat have your site. I know Joe Brett's got theirs. I know the fabulous Miss Renee has hers. I think she's bringing her husband too.
Is she bringing what's
Um,
his name with her?
whatever his name is. Yeah,
Yeah,
Freddie's coming. Freddie's already booked.
I'm in
And
cabin 14
so we will try and figure out some things to do, some things
without
that
a
are
roommate.
ham adjacent or ham friendly to do on the mountain. Last year we got a kilo collectively as toads. Y'all are toads, so y'all helped out. Some of you helped out more than others by actually being there and being on the radio. Some of you were hunters from remote, which is fantastic. We also did uh, car radio installs.
Yeah.
So Florida Todd got a radio installed in his Subaru, and Mike got a radio antenna installed. I think he already had the radio. He had an FT891 installed, and we put a HF antenna mount on and tested that out. And then I got my ICOM 7100 that y'all have seen the past couple of weeks in my truck installed. So I knew how to do it when I went out to Circle 6 Ranch and helped Joe Brett and K8MRD Mike install a radio in Miss Renee's truck. So she's got
She-
Kenwood 710, D710,
Is that the one with the cool kind of stand up head and
the separate head, the famous, the best, the hallmark of
yeah,
APRS radios.
not the weird ICOM 7100 style head.
With yeah, it's not the better head version. Can I say that
Mm.
out loud? I don't know if I want to say better head in a conversation. Yeah, so it
I've
was the
got to
710.
I should have well I didn't have it last year. I've got a Yaesu 2880M I bought from I think Tom if I remember right.
And that's a small form factor 2 meter, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the standard 1U mobile radio size. It's a 65-watt radio.
Yeah, they had some, yeah.
And I have dreams of mounting it also in my truck. I just haven't figured out exactly where yet. I almost got it set up for the Orlando trip, and Joe breaded it on the dashboard, like when he was hiding it from the XYL kind of situation, but I didn't.
By making a YouTube video on his channel that,
Right,
as a loving
right.
wife, she's subscribed to and watches every single one of his videos.
Well, I think if I remember right, she didn't notice it until she was riding in the truck, and because he was shooting a video, and she said, "You put a radio in here.
What did you do?
You ruined my truck, Joe Brett."
Right. So Joe Brett has a secret trick for installing radios besides just hiding it from the missus. What he did was, if you know how vehicles are put together, you have the fender that is eye candy dressing on the front side of the truck, and then you have the frame member that goes behind that. So he snuck it down between the fender, the pretty covering, and the frame member, and then it came out at the bottom of the door pillar, and then we routed it inside the truck, and that was super easy compared to what I did. I went through the rubber grommet where the steering wheel shaft goes through.
And some cars have penetrations like for cabling to come through from the hood side through the firewall. And if you know where they are and you can find them, especially on the dashboard side of the firewall, without having to rip out the whole entire dash, it's kind of the thing.
Yeah. So
I bought a diplexer for 2 meter and 440 so I could run. I'm planning for it. I haven't done it, but I bought the diplexer so I could put the Yaesu 2800 on, or 2880, whatever it is. I can't remember the model number. Put it on 2 meters because that's all it is, and then run the FTM 500 on 440 for my AllStar nodes and yeah, something like that.
yeah. So good evening, Don. Good
And
to have you here.
APRS.
And we've got David Denny in the chat says he needs some help. David, there is a link to the Toads Discord at the top of the channel there, at the top of the chat. You'll see it. And if you drop your question over there, where there is thousands of us over there that are happy to help out. So just let us know what you need. In this format, it is really hard to go back and forth on a specific topic. We might do that in one show in the future with a Q&A, but right now we've got a topic for tonight. And I definitely want to get you some help that you need. So join us over on the Toads Discord. Say hi, ask us what your question is, and we'd be happy to answer you. There's 115 of us watching now, and I bet every single one of them will have an answer for you. Some of them might even be right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They certainly will have opinions.
Right. Opinions are like noses. I learned this from my friend Don. Opinions are like noses. Everybody has one. All of them smell.
And they stick it in places that normally they shouldn't be.
Yeah, we could do that too.
We could kind of go with that. Stick them where they're not wanted. What's up? How's it going?
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna put you on the spot, Jim. What are we talking about tonight? Because this was actually your idea.
Um, I don't remember that part of the conversation exactly, but okay.
So you were migrating from DigitalOcean.
So yeah, so the way Toad's digital works is there are several components of it, and when I set it up initially, I put it on DigitalOcean. But the D-Star component requires specific hardware. What are those things? The dongles. Thumb DVs, is that the name of those? The ones from Northwest
Yeah,
Digital.
yeah. Northwest Digital Radio Thumb DVs. They have the AMD chip on them. They're not radios. They just have that proprietary patented chip that allows you
Right,
to do radio stuff.
right. And so
Yeah,
Brandmeister
codecs.
does not want to software decode D-Star on their network, and I get that. That's cool.
Yeah, they're a transport layer. Yep.
Right. So that was so cute. You use network words. You need to teach Ape about that.
Yeah,
So
I know things.
I,
I drink and
I'm
I know things.
I drink and I know things. That's right. So when we had it on DigitalOcean, most of it was on the DigitalOcean server in the cloud, wherever that is. And then the D-Star piece was running here on a Raspberry Pi with the two dongles. So whenever anybody keyed up D-Star, that traffic was actually coming here, getting transcoded and spewed out to the DigitalOcean server, where it got sent across to YSF and to DMR at the same time, and vice versa. The whole process also worked in reverse. Well, I decided I was tired of having it on DigitalOcean and paying money for DigitalOcean when I had to use a computer of mine anyway, because I can't put a dongle in the cloud. So I migrated it all here back in November and got everything set up. All the software's running here, including the D-Star piece. But for it to work the way it's set up right now, the D-Star piece has to be able to talk to Brandmeister. XLXD is the software program in question. It has to be able to send the D-Star traffic to Brandmeister after it gets decoded by the Ambed software here, and those two dongles, one for transmit and one for receive. And so far, Brandmeister has not made the change. When we originally set it up, I had to put in a ticket with Brandmeister and say, hey, I want to do this. This is how we're linking it. And so they allow me to send our D-Star traffic to one of their master servers, and that rebroadcast it out to our talk group, and hence to YSF also.
So
So,
hang on for 1 second, Jim. I
mhm,
appreciate where you're going with this. I want to add one more bit of color to this.
yeah,
Sometimes we say, I want to put this delicately because I appreciate all y'all's feelings. Sometimes we say big words. and I don't want you to be put off by big words, and I don't want you to go, I don't know this, and what happens is you kind of absorb some of this stuff and you don't even know that you're absorbing it. And when you try later on to grab your cheap $25 radio, which we all love and we all have 27 of, and
Indeed.
try to do digital, you'll remember Jim said the Ambi decoder is a proprietary chip and my radio doesn't have it. And that'll kind of click a little bit. And then, you pick up little nuggets of wisdom, which is the whole point of this show, is to pick up little nuggets of wisdom all along the way. So we're talking real high level, but ask some questions in the chat. We'll drop it down a level. We'll try and feel some of this out, and we're here to kind of help hamsplain some of this stuff because we don't know everything, but we know a little bit, and together we all know a lot. So like, don't feel like we're
Right.
losing you. Just ask
Right.
questions. We're here for it.
Yeah. So when I decided to migrate, I made all the changes. I built a machine here, brand new machine, not a Pi. I used a PC body and loaded whatever version of Ubuntu I've got on it. Got all the software here, and everything is set up and working. The problem is that right now Brandmeister is not answering the phone when XLXD, the software that basically controls this whole process, is trying to send the D-Star packets. Brandmeister's not answering the phone. Literally, all they have to do on their side, as far as I know, is change the IP address from the DigitalOcean box it used to be on to the new IP address for me here. And if they made that change, Bob's your uncle. It'll all work.
And I'm thinking, and don't take this the wrong way, but I'm thinking that Brandmeister might want a little grease in the palm there.
Well, somebody mentioned that, and I'm glad to do that. Hell, we'll log on and do it live right now. I don't care. What is aggravating with Brandmeister is I put in the ticket using their ticket system, and one of the drop downs for the ticket system is cross-link. I filled in their little questions, and this has happened twice. The first time that we ever did it, and the second time when I tried to move it. And then they send you an email back and said, what are you talking about? We need more information. Well, your ticket system didn't ask for it. So then I send them the long email with, this is the site, this is the XLX, this is our server, yada, 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 all the technical details they need. And then the first time, it took them about a week or so, and then they came back and sent me an email and said, it's all done, you're good to go, this ticket is closed, and indeed it was. I put in the second ticket for the migration on November 17th. I got the email back that said, hey, we need more information, answer all these questions that they didn't ask. Filled all that out, sent it back, and since then I have heard naught but crickets from Brandmeister.
Look at you using fancy words.
I know,
Not the
right?
crickets.
Not but crickets.
He held his pinky out when he said that because he's proper British.
Not
Not
but
the
crickets.
Oh, I
So,
hear the crickets too. Yeah.
yeah, that's where we are. I've talked with Fredward, and that would be Freddie Mac, Ham Radio Crusader. I found out that
Awesome channel.
apparently
Go give him a subscribe.
Fredward is a nickname he gets called, and I just pulled it out of the air. I thought it was funny.
Can I speak to the manager, Mike?
Right. Dude, I have sent Mike, I have sent about, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 emails to him. I've begged them in their ticketing system. Hey, boys, don't want to be a nag. Any movement on this ticket? I mean, it's been a month. Hey, fellas, this is
Please?
me again. It's been
Please?
6 weeks. Y'all going to even answer me? I mean, I haven't even been forceful in an email. I've been very nice and supplicative.
Well, so I mean, if going full Karen doesn't work, you can always knife hand.
Right?
That
Right.
probably won't work either, but it makes you feel better.
So that's where we are. Now, Freddie and I have chatted a bit, and we think potentially we can do the same function using DV switch and routing the traffic that way. But I have not been able to find any solid documentation on how to do that exactly in DV switch. Most of what DV switch talks about is exactly not what we're trying to do. I feel that it should work. I just don't have enough documentation to cobble through the 5 or 10 config files that you got to set up for DV switch. Now,
Jim's
Freddie,
gonna pull the I'm a mid-level YouTube sensation.
right?
Do you know who I am?
I am a quasi-famous YouTuber with the knife hand. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. Freddie has already helped us because he tied my AllStar node into Toads Digital, so you can get to Toads Digital through AllStar, the DMR number, or the YSF number, and one of these days, once again, possibly D-Star. You can use D-Star right now. XLX546A works. It's just not linked in. It's just a reflector, and if you're on XLX, the only people who hear you would be the same ones on 546.
LC, I'm not saying that you should email Brandmeister until they know who we are, but I might have Jim draft up a message that we can send en masse.
Right.
That would be nice.
Well, I would be, listen, if they told me to go,
Hey,
myself, that'd
Mike.
be fine. I get that, right? But I haven't even gotten that. Like, please God, quit talking to us. Or if I'd gotten a letter from them that said restraining order, I'd understand that. But it's nothing but crickets out of those guys. So I don't know.
So your All-Star node, you've got that Alinco 135 DR, is that right?
It is not my All-Star node anymore. I have repurposed it. It is now my DigiGate Peter thing, my
Okay.
DigiPeter gate.
We
No,
need to.
I bought a Sherry USB dongle,
Mhm.
and that's my All-Star node here at this time. So we're tied in on our All-Star. We're tied into some sketchy Aussie, Hayden something or other,
Right,
and
VK7HH.
right VK7HH and Jason's two O's
Ham
All-Star
Radio
hub.
2.0, yeah.
Yeah, to his hub. So by themselves, yes, indeed, it is much the same thing. P25 is on the board if I can get D-Star working. I don't want to open up another can of problems until I got one problem fixed.
So this is one of the cool things that we could probably iterate over a couple of weeks. Um, get the get an SD card, get a Pi, get the dongles installed, get it working, back that image up. Next week, mess with it a little bit more, knowing you have that backup to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
And if we make progress, yay, back it up again, and then move to another week and do the same thing until we get all the different modes set up, which would be a fantastic goal to do. I think it would just take us like 3 years to get through.
It's
But
a,
I mean, I've
it's
I've heard of it.
it's a lot of config file manipulation. So what we're doing, like with the All-Star node, and Freddie had already had some experience with that and has done several videos on it. So if you're interested in it, you should really go watch Freddie's videos. But Ham Radio Crusader. But the Brandmeister thing is kind of common. The D-Star thing is not common because I mean I have been using every ounce of Google foo I had, thinking I cannot be the only guy in the world trying to do this thing. And like I said, I'm 90% sure DV Switch will do exactly what we need it to do.
Hmm.
I just haven't, and I spent a good bit of Saturday working with DV Switch trying to get through it.
Yeah.
I know
By
what
themselves, we're
port.
not afraid of questions. Bring them on.
Oh yeah,
We're happy to help.
yeah.
We're just
And he's
it's a
he's
kind of
in
a
the chat all
half-sided
the time. He's in
conversation.
the
Yeah.
Discord all the time.
So we got a
Um,
super chat from 1979 Iceman, $9.99. Thank you very much to you, number one. Thanks for all you guys do for ham radio. Still stoked I got to meet all my favorite YouTubers at Hamcation. If you came up to me and said your name was 1979 Iceman, I probably could have connected that face, but
right.
I bet you came up and said, my name is Stanley. Nice to meet you.
If you gave us your government name, son, I got no idea who you are.
Or maybe I
Sorry, go ahead.
Chick-fil-A. Maybe I missed you because I was getting Chick-fil-A. Go ahead.
See, okay, whatever.
We had an impromptu net, and I had some emergency traffic to break into the net, and had to
Right,
make it all work out.
right.
I
So
think it would be a good to document the entire process, clean, and possibly even just provide a backup of that image and restore it to your SD card, and then boot it, and then edit these two lines of configuration file or something would be nice.
well, and that's part of the problem. So Adam Dennis, who has changed his YouTube name to 73
7.3
Radio, I
ham
think,
radio, yeah.
something like that. Adam Dennis did a lot of work originally with JerryNet, getting that set up, and he had a set of documentation. But the problem is, a lot of the stuff he did has been OBE by newer versions of software or functionality that was not there when they set up JerryNet. So part of his documentation was useful. A whole lot of it, no reflection on him, was not. So, you know, all this software is, you know, homegrown. You can get it on GitHub. There's not a lot of documentation about how to do function X, function Y, or function Z.
Hang on one second. We have a correspondent live on the scene that says D-Star is easier to use. So we might need to have a D-Star session from Mike teaching us all how to D-Star.
That would be fine because
Because
I have
we've never
I have
had
my
any
radio
problem with it
fixed.
ourselves. Never.
Right, right.
It
Well,
wasn't that we were using the wrong server and reading the wrong documentation for 2.5 hours.
the whole time,
D-Star was fine. Yeah,
right.
less than 5 minutes.
I've got my 9700 working. There's some subtleties in D-Star that I still don't understand, but I know how to jump to a hotspot and change repeaters, although I don't use the D-Star repeater here, but it's in there. So, yeah, what we were trying to do was really blazing a trail because we were trying to do terminal mode, right?
We
Which
don't
is
try to do anything easy. No, we try to do the
right.
hard stuff on purpose. Number one, it's fun. You know, it's fun for you guys to watch us fail over and over again and yell at your computer screen. And it's fun for us to figure it out, and hopefully we all learn something out of it in the end.
We did it on a 705, Aiden.
We did, yeah.
Yes, we did.
So I took a 2.5 hour, 3.5 hour live stream where we were doing it completely wrong and boiled it down to a 5 minute video and released that like 2 weeks later.
And Roy, DMR is two or 70, either one. Doesn't matter. It's whatever the local repeater's running.
Yeah.
And if you run a hotspot, it's whatever you want to set your hotspot on.
So there's a myth here, Jim, and you know this myth, and you're gonna obviously be on my side because we're brothers. We go way back. But DMR works over simplex. It does not require a repeater. It
True.
does not require the internet.
Correct.
Now it can be used on a repeater, and if it is used on your local repeater, you do need to get with the local repeater boys and figure out how they do their local repeater stuff. And if you do use it on the internet, then that's where we come in because we have on DMR 319.2083
Look at you,
is
you
our
remembered it. Very good.
I looked it up yesterday, I cheated. Is our DMR room. So join us on 319.2083. And we got a couple of chef cookbook. Oh, Jason, you're a man after my own heart. I love you, brother. We
Well,
can make this happen.
and so you mentioned this. My plan, once I have all these pieces in place and I understand how they're all linked,
Yeah.
my plan is to write a document on how to do this. But right now, it's in my head, and I know where all the moving pieces are for what I've got working, but I don't know how to yet to integrate DV switch in, and the documents I've seen on it it's nothing useful at all. So
So we're gonna bang out a quick three membership milestone chats here. We got
do
Brian.
it.
Brian, sorry I'm late. We can start the party now. Brian, we were waiting for you, and here you are. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. We got Florida Todd. This is the guy with the Subaru that did the radio install
Short Florida Todd.
in Huntsville with us that I was talking about earlier. Todd, if you missed it, rewind, and then you can rewind again. You can catch up again. You did make it. Thank you for being here. And then we've got other Richard, who is a member for 2 months. Yes, every month. And so it's the 26th. So next Monday, you will get another opportunity to use it again. Thank
Sweet.
you all.
We have a lot of intriguing comments in the chat.
Think heavy set. Oh, yes. I do remember you.
Oh yeah,
And what I saw, and I did see you. I did recognize you.
I
Is
remember him.
you walked by and I went, hey, and you went, hey, and we just kept on going. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times. I'm not 100% sure, but yes. And that VX2 was awesome. I saw that and I was drooling and I wanted one and I'm so jealous. That was awesome. So he gets another song, Jim.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Frank, I don't know, Frank.
Just nod.
Nod and wave, boys. Nod and wave.
Then Brian comes back. I'm so loving POTA. I got 30 unique activations yesterday, and I test for general thanks to Toads on Wednesday remotely. Awesome. Good luck on your test. You got this, my friend. If you
We
have any
might be
last
there.
minute questions, just let me know, and we'll help you out as best as we can. Awesome.
I gotta put that one up. That's exactly right, Freddie. Smack that like button
Yes.
like it's Brandmeister. And they
Nope.
are
No
volunteers,
worries
I
at all,
understand.
Iceman.
So, we
Yeah.
gotta. I don't know. I am gonna make a donation and see if that maybe lets them find the ticket at the bottom of the stack of
Grease the
dusty tickets
palms.
in there. Yeah.
So the reason I like the VX2 was it's a very small radio, and I think I said this on a live stream before, but I really love older Yaesu discontinued Yaesu radios.
Rezu
They're
Yadios.
Yaesu Yadios. Yeah, they're built like tanks. They do the thing. They're fantastic and fantastic. I saw that VX2 and I'm like, I know exactly what that is. I know exactly why I want it, and now I have to have one. Felt like
That's
the
the
guy
wee
from
little that Iceman is the wee little radio,
it's
the
a
little
it's a
tiny
2 meter
Yaesu.
HT that looks exactly like your Pico APRS,
Yeah, yeah, I want it too.
except old.
If I get a chance to buy one at Dayton or Huntsville, I'm going to make sure you're present when I go. You.
See, I remember. I've got memory. I'm not dead
When
yet.
he said the VX2, I knew who he was then. I was like,
I
okay,
didn't see the VX2 transaction. I just saw the VX2 in the hand. The VX2 in the hand is worth two in the hand.
right. So let's see. Question: does cross mode require approval? Yes and no. It depends on what you're trying to cross mode with whom. Getting YSF and DMR to talk to each other, not a problem at all. I could probably add in P25 with almost no work either. Ditto NXDN. D-Star is a bit of a problem child because of the way it works and because the way the software I know about sends the actual voice data traffic over the internet to Brandmeister, and that's how it gets looped in to everything that's linked together. So on the server, there's actually several processes that do this, and I don't want to get real deep in this, but there's XLXD, which answers the phone as XLX546A. It also provides a YSF server that most of y'all don't even know about, and we never use because I'm running a separate YSF reflector for reasons I can't remember at this point, and that is the Toads 55295. So then there's two other programs. There is YSF Reflector and YSF to DMR. And those two programs route all the YSF traffic into XLXD, which handles it all and sends it all basically to Brandmeister. And then Freddie tied it in with AllStar and DV Switch. Now he loaded DV Switch on my AllStar node, and DV Switch is talking to Brandmeister, I believe. And that's how Toads, YSF, and DMR are linking into AllStar. So if you key up on any of the three of those right now at this moment, you're talking to all the stuff, AllStar, YSF, and DMR. And when we get this one piece fixed, one way or the other, then it will link in DMR XLX546A. So there's also another program called Ambed, which is Ambi Decoder, and that's the piece that listens for the D-Star traffic and does the transcode and sends it back. So that's all the pieces. And then there's a bunch of network stuff that has to be done for it to work. Whatever machine it's hosted on has to have such and such ports open, UDP or TCP, mostly UDP, so that the traffic can all flow through it. I can get around some of that now. I could close off a whole lot of stuff in my firewall because all this stuff is on my network here in its own VLAN, and I don't have to fool with a whole lot of external traffic anymore. So, yes and no. Depends on what you want to cross mode and how. Let's see. Yes. Hamstick, how are you, brother? Yes, that's kind of our backup plan. Just Freddie and I have to get together and see if we can figure it out.
You can go around the front or you can go around the back, but both ways get you to the same yard.
Right, right. Let's see.
I
I don't
wish it
know.
was. I like what the amateur radio newsline boys do, and I wish that we could support them by getting it out over our network, that would be awesome. We're just not that skilled yet.
Well, if it was on Ham Radio 2.0's AllStar node, it was going out on ours too.
Yeah, so that's a 10-minute. No, it's not 10 minutes. I think it's 30 minutes. But it's got
Oh, really?
a break tone every 10 minutes so that you can ID on your repeater and give yourself a chance to turn it off and whatnot. But it's an MP3 file that you can download and then you can rebroadcast.
Oh, neat. Who does that?
It's
Is
called
that
Amateur Radio Newsline, and it's
okay?
Don, and I'm gonna butcher his name, but he's got like an awesome name only because the sheer number of syllables. Don Van Evenhoven.
That is an impressive number of
It,
syllables.
you met him at Huntsville.
I remember him
Um,
because I remember the
very
last
short
name.
Don, yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like AE6DW or D. I don't know. You'll recognize him when you see him.
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
remember the name. Todd, really, really, Florida Todd.
Todd
Listen,
just
son,
wants
if
to.
he's trolling. If we get once we get D-Star fixed, my goal is to link all the modes. And NXDN and P25 are honestly almost the same thing as YSF, and it will not be hard to link them. But I'm working on one problem at a time before I start changing a whole bunch of other stuff and chasing 17 different bugs across 4 time zones. So
Right.
it's coming.
So we got a super chat from Andy, other Andy. He says,
Oh,
Nuggets
hey.
donation, worth it. Watching you guys spit knowledge and FT8ing from my recliner, a Nuggets success story. Yes, sir. So this is the thing. We only know this because we did it yesterday, not because we're geniuses in our own
Yeah,
words. I mean,
right.
we are just not about ham radio. And we're
Buy
all
low
we're
and
all
sell
stronger
high.
together. We all have ideas. We all have good information to share. Much appreciated, Andy. Thank you. And I learned from you when we did our POTA together. Thank you.
We
And
met other
Bill,
Andy last year.
no,
He was really cool.
no, Bill, just just no.
Is the VX3 worth trading? Because I may hit up Bill and see what I can do.
I believe it's a Yaesu HT, and it's a fine quality HT, but it is not a KX1.
Well, no. Leave the KX1 out. If Bill is willing to trade a VX3, then potentially I have something I could trade Bill.
Ooh, ooh.
Bill?
Bill, your VX3 and $550. Bill knows.
Hmm.
Bill knows. He knows what he was doing.
All right, let's see.
Oh, I confused Don Wilbanks and Don Van Evenhoven. I did. You're right.
There's a lot of Dons. We have a lot of Dons. We have 2 or 3 of the Don. Let's see, we got Izzo and Nemesis Donners in here as well.
Oh yes, yes, and that's one of the things that we missed. Thank you for reminding me that. We got talking, and I totally spaced on the fact that Don has been a member for 39 months, and
Oh,
he will
yes.
be at Montesano again. That was fantastic, Don. Good to have you there.
Awesome.
Don contributed to our kilo.
And I know y'all think that like me and Don threw down or something. Man, we hung. We're just chilling.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Let's see. What else have we got? Freddie, I totally agree, man. I want all the modes because there's 3 or 4 people in the United States who are jonesing for an XDN right now that don't work
So
on an ambulance or in public safety.
right.
At least
So
3 or
what I would
4.
also like to figure out, and this is long-term strategizing, long-term goals. I would like to find a way to get our network of digital modes to exit your local repeater as well, so you can join the network. I know it's possible, but then there's like politics and other stuff involved.
My local repeater, or you mean like
Your local repeater,
they're
everybody.
right? Okay, right. Now, see, that's another thing, and this
Thanks,
kind of goes
Todd.
to Izzo's question. I can't wait to see it, buddy. This kind of goes to Izzo's question too. I've had some issues here, and Sam has mentioned it. I think Sam Weaver, KM4EEO, sounds like a federal agency. Some repeaters will not. Some repeater owners will not let you just willy nilly link to anything you want to. They have a white list of allowed talk groups. So that's one problem. Because I think, and if I remember right, Sam was telling me that he can't link to Toads off the local Montgomery YSF repeater. And I haven't seen him in the chat. I don't know if he's here or not, but so that could be a thing for a lot of people too, as well. Which is the reason a hotspot is just great. And on a hotspot, you don't have to worry about disconnecting from the last talk group you were using. Jody, I thank you, Jody. Thank you.
Well, because we haven't done anything but talk.
Right.
I mean,
It's kind of, we're
I'll
talking
take
about a
it. Don't get
fail.
me wrong.
We're talking
Um,
about a fail. I mean, let's see, November 17th to today. What is that? 4 months, almost 3.5 months. And
Thank you, Jody. But to be
oh,
fair, failing on nuggets is success. This is what we're here for.
right. Let's see.
So Aiden's asking what my plans are for Hamvention. I do not know yet because we're going to arrive somewhere between Iowa and Wisconsin heading north around April, which means I'm probably going to drop the trailer somewhere and hang out with the boys at a Airbnb or something.
Well, that's my plan, and I think Chuck is on board. I don't know if what's his name, because you know how sketchy he is about that whole thing.
Yeah, old Kurt. Kurt, that's right. I come up with the ideas. I'm management. I'm leadership. That's what we do.
Right, right. And I would totally agree with you on that one. Never allow the Talk Group 91 hellscape, because it's pretty much the talk that never ends. And America Link is like that too. There's some people that just, I mean, bless their hearts, that camp on some digital talk groups, and I swear if you key up, you will get engaged. And I mean, I know we're in ham radio, and that's kind of what we do is talk to
Good
everybody
luck,
about
Todd.
the weather and remarks of a personal nature. But I swear some of these guys just live on there, and then there's the ones, and this could be controversial since we're talking about digital radio. Do you log your digital voice contacts? Because I have heard people on the digital talk groups, yeah, go ahead and go to QRZ and make sure you log this contact with me and sign my digital logbook. I mean, they're begging. And when I first started, my first radio was an ID51, and I talked to somebody in England, and I thought that was so cool. I actually did put it in my QRZ log. That's the only one I've ever put in there, and I kind of quit right after that. Let's see.
So, are
We
we
got a
gonna?
lot of questions, dude.
All right, I've got some that are starred. I'll start at the top on my
Start at the top.
side.
I'm trying to catch up right now.
I've been able to. So you star some more while I'm catching up. I've been able to D-star the other digital modes, not so much, but I am near a fusion repeater now. So maybe that will be my digital mode. LC, I think that's a great idea. I actually am a big fan of fusion as a mode, and as a big fan
Oh
of the way
yeah.
that Yaesu has implemented it in the radios. It makes so much more sense. Once you figure out that it doesn't work like the other ones that don't make sense, it makes a lot more sense. And it's out of the box set up and running in minutes as opposed to hours. So
Yeah.
yeah, you'll like Fusion a lot better. And watch my video on making a YSF hotspot, and that will help you join the Toads digital YSF room or the HRCC YSF room, which you may or may not be able to get from your Fusion repeater, but that's okay because hotspots are cheap now. All right, I got one from our buddy Hamstick Eric. D-Star is booty. I wouldn't see my hotspot without putting a -0 offset. If I disabled the offset, it simply wouldn't work.
Yep. That has been a problem with some D-Star radios, yes. Or the CPS. I can't remember where the problem was, but I've seen that problem.
I need to dig into this. You're talking about the offset in the hotspot settings, right? The frequency offset?
Yeah, you can't. The software gets kind of stupid if you tell it simplex and 0. It doesn't want to work right. You have to tell it minus offset or positive offset, either one, and 0, and then it works fine. And I want to say that might be the 5100 because I've had one and it's been a while since I've had to deal with that weirdness. I don't remember where I had it, but I had it with a D-Star radio. And I've had an ID51, a D74, a 5100, and now I have a 9700. And I think the 5100 was the one that had that. Yeah, treat it like a repeater with a zero offset.
But this isn't the RXTX offset in Pi-Star. This is something
No, it
different.
is not. No, that is a
Okay.
completely different thing. Yeah. This is like the CPS repeater offset. You just tell it it's a minus offset and give it a zero. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. And then our friend Scanner Junkie says, I can only get DV Switch to connect one AllStar node to one DMR talk group. I guess it works running multiple sessions. I never got there. I don't think you're on the wrong track. I think that's fine.
I think it's supposed to be able to handle to one just switch. I can only do switch connect one AllStar node to one DMR talk group. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. The name kind of tells me that it should handle multiple modes. That's kind of what switch implies, I would
Right,
think.
but multiple rooms inside of one mode.
Not on the same mode, no.
Right.
I don't think so, no. Possibly on separate networks, like a TGIF room and a Brandmeister room or something like that. So, I don't know.
All right. And then he comes back with, what's the AllStar node number? I think it's just your number, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, 57202. Let's see.
And if I didn't have to disassemble everything every single time I moved, I'd have a lot of this stuff left up and I'd be able to get on this stuff and play around, but I'm just not there yet. And then the damned is studying for general. You got this, my friend. You will make it. You're getting 22 to 23 out of 35. That's not bad. If you're getting 22% out of 100, that's not good. But progress is progress. So just keep at it and you'll get it. If you have any questions, Discord link at the top of the chat. There's a study chat room. You can jump in there and we'd be happy to help you out.
It is the 5100. I thought it was. I knew I'd seen it before. I thought it was weird. What else you got, Steve? I'm still, man, the chat is on fire tonight. Y'all are great people.
Awesome, awesome. Brian says, just got here. Where's the RV? I am mooch docking. It's camping for free in somebody's backyard. It happens to be in the in-laws' backyard, and we're leaving on Sunday. This weekend I'm going to the Houston Hamfest. So if I see y'all there, say hi. And because you know what I look like, but I have no idea what you guys look like. And then Sunday I'm going to Galveston Island State Park. So gonna be podaing on the
Oops.
Gulf
Hey,
of
Christopher.
Mexico.
I didn't mean to click that, but howdy, Christopher.
And then Chris wants to buy a Wires Xbox. There are a lot of Yaesu radios that do not have digital built in that do accept what is it, the HRI 200?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a FT 8800, I think it is, and I think that takes a HRI 200 and can get onto digital modes, and it's an analog radio. So yeah, totally doable.
I'm finally caught up. We have a lot of stuff starred.
Cool.
So FYI about Wires X. Yes, it is a digital mode. It is Fusion. It is C4FM. What did we decide to call that? The vocoder, the encoding methodology, whatever you want to call it.
The
C4FM.
codec, yeah.
Codec.
It's a
thank
vocoder.
you.
It's both.
Yes, it's the same as YSF. However, Wires X is a separate C4FM network owned and managed and controlled by Yaesu. And YSF is a free and open network that's kind of like the Wild Wild West. If you want to start a YSF reflector on your computer at your house and share it with the world, go with God. YSF and Wires X do not touch each other except where someone has set up a bridge. And that's a thing that I have not played with. But I have played with the Wires X room. There's no real benefit to doing that over YSF, other than you can probably get a lot more Japanese rooms because it's huge in Japan, Yaesu.
Yeah.
But it
Does
is
the
not.
HRI
Go ahead.
Does the HRI 200 require a PC or just an Ethernet connection?
It requires a PC.
Okay, so where I'm going with this is cost of the Wires Xbox, cost of the PC, which you may or may not already have, but if you already have it, you're talking about running Windows 3.1 software on it, um, and all of those problems. Or you might be able to get yourself, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this, you might be able to get yourself another radio. You have my permission, an FT70 and a hotspot. What would you rather have?
You left part of that out. You have to have a radio too to do Wires X.
FT70,
No, no,
FT70,
no, no, no.
HT.
No, go back to your Wires X. You have to have the HRI 200. You have to have a Yaesu radio
Oh,
that will
yeah,
be
you're right.
supported by
He,
the Wires X box, and you have to have a PC. And you can't willy-nilly connect to any YSF rooms unless they are bridged over to Wires X. I have no idea about doing that. That is a solution to a
a whole
problem
other
I am
kind of
not
dark
even
magic.
remotely interested
We
in
we
at
played
this
with it
time.
one day here, but we haven't done
I
much
had
since
one.
then.
I did
Yeah.
not have, so you don't have to have the HRI. That depends on what radio you have. If you have
Yep.
an FTM 400, I know you don't need it. You can just run the Wires X software and connect the radio, and Bob's your uncle, you have a Wires X room. There are two kinds of Wires X rooms. I'm going to get the wording wrong. One is analogous to a YSF room. Everybody can connect to it and talk. And the other is some kind of data mode or something. I can't remember because I don't do it and haven't played with it in over a year. And then some Yaesu radios require the HRI to do Wires X. The FTM 400 does not. I don't think the FT70 requires the HRI box either. But if you want to run a Wires X box, that you have to put the radio in a specific mode, and you're not playing radio with it. That's the other mode. So one is you can talk on it, and one is you can't. It is a room for other people to connect to with their Yaesu radios on Wires X and the
Yeah.
HR and or the HRI if it's required.
So I would suggest you get the FT70 and the hotspot.
Yes, it's no more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a Fusion hotspot, C4FM hotspot is really easy to use compared to a DMR hotspot.
yeah, yeah.
Compared to
And we
like
can.
just tuning 146.52 and pushing the button, they're all kinds of difficult. Don't get me wrong.
That is what they're called, PDN and node mode. And that's the basic difference. One is you can still use the radio, and one is you can't. It's just a room for other people kind of deal.
Right. Okay, cool. So Laraz, is this Larazepam from the Discord? Sorry, I am late. Have you addressed free DV for HF? I think we did a free DV live stream a while back. We've done
Yes,
we've
it's
done a
been
bunch of
several months ago.
stuff. We've done so much stuff. It's time to bring it all around the bend and do it all over again.
Right.
And then Ham Till It Hurts says he's got a CGNet ISP that cramps AllStar, and he thinks a VPN might be a good suggestion. I don't have an answer for that. I do know that Arden, AREDN or
Yeah.
ARDN?
AREDN. Mm-hmm.
AREDN now gives you the ability to do ham adjacent sponsored VPN service. And I'm not sure the price on it, but it does support amateur radio projects. So if you're looking to spend money on a VPN, do one that, pats
And
you on the back.
I believe they said that CGNet is not an issue for them. And as far as the VPN goes, with running AllStar, that would be an issue because the world has to connect in. So yeah, that's going to be a problem.
But I mean, we're talking
There's
10
probably
bucks
ways to get around
to
it,
try
but
it out.
yeah, it's worth spending $10 a month if you want to run an AllStar node and you have CGNet.
So I mean, like 10 bucks, try it out. If it works, awesome. And if it doesn't,
Right.
cancel the service and you're out 10 bucks. I mean, that's like a cup of coffee these days.
Right.
Iowa Hawk with the snark. I'd expect that out of you, my friend. You mean the non-existent Airbnb? But this is the Coffee and Ham Radio's Airbnb that we got last year. That when we showed up had already been foreclosed twice. Yeah.
Right.
It,
We
an adventure is what you get when you don't get what you plan for. And we did
Right.
not get what we planned for.
I'm hoping, well, my plan is, especially with what you said tonight, that I am in charge of hunting down an Airbnb. Actually, Mrs. Perry has already been looking for some.
Not it.
And I'm going to get us an Airbnb that they actually let us have keys and go inside, and it doesn't smell like beer, urine, and gunshot wounds.
Until after we leave.
Until after we leave. And then that thing with Ape and the chickens last year, I don't know if we're going to be allowed back.
We pay the cleaning fee for a reason, folks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Aiden says he doesn't log 2 meter or 70 centimeter unless it's SSB or FT8. Yeah, I can agree with that. I usually if I'm calling on 146.52, it's like, anybody's game and you're not getting logged. And then Ron, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Ron was a fantastic toad. He's a toad among toads for helping us set up the Lake Louisa State Park second annual Toads POTA hangout. And he was also a key player in the Toads Kilo at Montesano.
Yes, he was. Ron, awesome. Thank you, buddy. Ron's a great guy. If you haven't met him, you should.
Like a kid in the plaid shirt.
Right.
And those bumpers were the trumpet bumpers were from our friend Simon, BA7BIX Ham Jazz. And I know Mike's a busy guy, but I understand Mike is recording some guitar bumpers for us too.
Sweet. Well, maybe Ham Radio Tube could record some guitar bumpers for us as well.
That's the mic I was talking about.
That's the mic? Okay.
That's the mic, yeah. So Chris says some hotspots are not quite as stable as they appear. I have two. One that is
I think you mean spot on.
And the other that is plus 500. So this is what I was talking about earlier.
That's the offset.
RX and TX offset, and I think, and we need to play with this, but I don't have a demonstration case because mine so far have been spot on. Good.
We're not going to do it. I'm going to share it with you.
The W0CHP dashboard, Pi-Star dashboard, which is the fantastic new look to Andy's old Pi-Star that he hasn't been able to work on for reasons that Andy knows, and I appreciate those reasons. I don't know that I have the authority to share those reasons here on the stream. But Chip has made a tool, I think, that goal seeks. So you say, like, this isn't working, and you click the button, and it moves around, and you can see the signal strength or something. So we need to play with that one night. Does that make sense, Jim?
I was going to demonstrate it right now, since I'm
awesome.
I'm digitally prepared for this evening, because I wasn't entirely sure what all we were doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So if you let me share my screen. Sure. Dashboard.
I'm not stopping you.
Present. Screen.
Yeah.
Now, I am not using Pi-Star with the chip dashboard. I'm using WPSD, which is a whole standalone replacement or different version.
This is the way to get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, this is because Chip is not updating the Pi-Star version of his dashboard, the W0CHP dashboard anymore. And if you run it, it'll tell you, listen, we're not updating it anymore. So this is what Chip has come up with, which is a standalone Pi-Star replacement built on Pi-Star, with Pi-Star, I don't know, but whatever, it's not Pi-Star, it's WPSD.
Yeah, so let's unpack that for a minute. Andy made the Pi-Star dashboard. You would download that, install that, then you'd apply Chip's update to it. Now, Chip has stopped doing that, and Chip makes an entire image.
Right.
You download Chip's image and apply that, and you're golden. And it looks beautiful like this. And it's got a bunch of extra features.
So the thing that T.O. is talking about, and there's something equivalent that Joe Brett just did a video on the other day. I haven't seen his video yet. I saw the thumbnail. There is a tool available for Pi-Star. This is built into WPSD. So if you go to configuration, and I don't think this is running on a very fast Pi. I don't remember what I got this one on. And we go to advanced. And you get a warning. There's a lot of things in here that can make your brain melt.
You could really mess things up in here, yeah. But, just reinstall from scratch.
Right.
Just look at the notes. You watched the video. You know how to do it.
So you go to Tools, and you go to MMDVM Host Calibration. Built in. So you tell it Start, and it takes it a second, and then that will turn green, and then you pick the mode, and it takes it a second, and that will turn green for whatever mode you want to do. And then you have this is your frequency of your hotspot right here. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah, 432, 250, yep.
433, 250, but yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
eyes.
So, right. So this is the frequency for your hotspot that you've already set when you created it.
I
And
think
this
we
is
did
what
do
my
this on a
current,
live stream, but we can definitely do it again. It's necessary.
yeah, I'll get one of my crappy DMR radios that we probably have to do it for.
Repetition makes greatness.
And then you can play with your offset. So you're going to key up, and as you key up, you sample it for some amount of seconds, and then it will show you the current frame count, the total frames, bits, errors, and the sauce, the bit error rate. And the goal is to get that number sub 1%. So as you key up and that number is horrible, you come in here and you bump this by 25 or 50, either positive or negative. It not necessarily going to be positive until you get the hotspot tuned to the right frequency, because most
Yeah.
of these things are on TXCOs that are not exactly accurate, and that's what you're doing. This is what you would do by manually adjusting the RX offset in PyStar. And you can also manually adjust the RX offset in WPSD if you want to do it that way. This is just something to help you with it. Makes it a lot easier, because before this or an equivalent tool, you had to just put in a number, save it,
Pray.
key up, and see how well it worked. So, yeah.
And this is equivalent to calibrating a regular radio. And I'm drawing a blank on what the word is now, but whenever you get a
Aligning.
radio,
Aligning.
Yes, aligning.
Alignment.
This is the equivalent to aligning a radio, and you have to align radios. The last one I know that you could do as a ham with tools in your shack was the FT818. I think you can still do it with newer radios, but you need to get like more expensive tools than the cost of a new radio. So you just buy a
Yeah.
new radio now. But the FT818 and a simple meter, and you can get it aligned.
And what you're doing here is you're jiggling the TXCO in the Pi, assuming you want it so that when you're ready, what'll happen is, if I can speak English, what will happen is you'll key up and nothing will happen on the Pi. Either way, with PyStar or WPSD, this isn't specific to either software. Nothing will happen, and that's because that offset is so far out of whack that the Pi is not picking up your RF out of the radio. So you want to move that offset until the Pi starts picking it up, and then once you figure out which direction to go, then you need to twiddle it in a little finer movements until you get the most optimal, the lowest BER, bit error rate, and you're not dropping data packets. So,
Frank, there's always one in the group. Thanks, Frank.
I saw a couple of people said they do it, and a lot of them don't. And I
Well,
I did the one, and
George is smart. George is just like me. I'm driving. I can't log and drive at the same time. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I'm
would
watching
never
a
log.
YouTube video. I'm talking to my wife. I'm yelling at other drivers. I'm doing all kinds of sign language, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
what were you thinking? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. By
all right,
themselves
what
as a
else
new
we got?
member. Welcome. Send me a
Woo!
message on the Discord, linked at the top over there. We'll get you in the super secret members room, because we're going to
Another
have a members
Aussie.
only meeting coming up here soon.
Next week, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
So you're in time. Thank you very much.
Bueno.
Play that fancy music.
Play that fancy music, right, boy.
I like how you desensitized that one. That was awesome.
I did, just in case there's any sensitive some bitches in this Discord or chat. Yeah.
Right.
And I apologize to Hot
Nope, we
Chocolate
answered
for
that one.
butchering that song.
Brandmeister hates D-Star. Is that what I learned out of this? Neither confirm nor deny that.
We don't really know
They
what
might just hate
Grandmeister.
Jim.
It could be. I don't know. They won't talk. They won't talk to me. I mean, I was hoping they were like, it might be my ex-wife, although she never had a problem talking to me, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's something in there about the initials of Brandmeister and ex-wives, but I'll let you guys figure
Right?
that out.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want about Jim. He does look good in his red fishing shirt.
That's right. I
Red's a
make
good
this
color
look
for him.
good.
He's also improved his lighting. So, I mean, like, he's extra special.
Truly.
Dark Light, welcome. Yeah, it's like you're getting off early today. It's like lunchtime for you, isn't it? The red shirt is why Jim Wonpota dies in the away party. Yep.
That's right.
Just burst into flames. Will DMR work better if you're using a 200-foot tower from Alabama? Jim will be able to let you
I
know
have no
in a week or
specific
two.
knowledge of that at this time.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
If you didn't watch Hayden's stream yesterday, we dissected that whole operation.
Oh, we tore it 6 ways from Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to go back and watch that Ham Radio DX channel. And we know nothing. We just have brain power. Colin saying you can't use the radio once it's connected to the
Correct.
HRI-200 and set it up as a node. Yeah, so that's another reason because the FT70 you just turn it down to digital mode and you're back to
Right. Well,
digital mode.
and that's what I was saying with the two ways that works with Wires X. What Colin is saying is correct. If you set it up as a node, then you can't radio with it. You have to set it up as the other way. What I can never remember the words.
And there's like a long on the FT8800. There's a long button press and a short button press. So you can accidentally put it into Wires X mode, even though it doesn't have any Wires X hardware, and you can't do anything with it. Then you have to go check the manual real quick because you forgot how you did that.
That's not actually how that works. That will also get you into Wires X mode with a YSF. It's like a C4M advanced thing. We need to ask Kruk what the hell they call that.
I don't think the radio I have has any digital encoders in it. I think it's able to connect.
Like with this guy, right?
5D,
that red button right down there in this corner. Jeez, I'm trying to. Oh my Lord.
The other corner.
That corner right
Jim,
there.
Stretch it.
There.
The GM/X button.
I'm just trying to figure out which hand I'm supposed to wiggle. So I have a Fusion, a C4FM, a YSF hotspot here. Let me turn this thing on and we'll show you. So, oh man, I got all the APRS crap turned on. Never mind. I have to figure out how to turn that off again. But I can change to the hotspot without touching any other buttons and key up and talk Fusion to the hotspot and to the world. Or I can hit that button, that red Wires X button, long press it, and it puts the radio into Wires X mode or digital mode or whatever. And that gives you extra functionality with the Fusion radios, because then I can list YSF rooms available and all sorts of stuff. Plus, that'll let you change rooms with the radio instead of having to screw with the hotspot. Yep.
And I showed this in my
same with the repeater.
YSF video.
Yes, you did. Yep,
with
absolutely.
The FT70. Jim helped me do that.
Yep. So it's like Jeff said it's like an analog version of the Yaesu digital or something. I don't know.
So Freddie is our brother in arms here, Ham Radio Crusader. He knows just how hard it is to do this stuff. And if you go watch his channel, he has been breaking down every single thing you could possibly imagine to do with AllStar, because AllStar can do it all. And he's got a video on his channel about every one of those things all along the way. I just configured my Arden router and have a working. Oh, so sorry. I'm gonna finish this, but I got to finish the other thing I said first that I was wrong. AREDN is not ARDC. ARDC is the Amateur Radio Development.
I wondered about that, but I didn't want to call you out on it because I wasn't exactly sure.
And that's where the VPN comes from. So look up ARDC. And the funds from ARDC are going to help the M17 project.
Yes.
And we're going to have the M17 boys on here again because they have a module 17, a physical piece of hardware, and we're going to play with that on a future Nuggets show. So
and
be sure you're subscribed for that.
Isn't Chip one of the M17 crew?
They are thick as thieves, yes.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, WPSD and Pi-Star now support the M17 digital mode. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if we get all the other crap working, then yeah, I'm sure would look into putting M17 on it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So Freddie said, I just configured my Arden router and have a working VoIP phone talking to other hams, and Hamshack hotline can dial into me. And that's awesome.
And Hamshack hotline bonus tip. I have Hamshack hotlines here. I'm not going to give you my number because I don't know it off the top of my head. You can look it up on Hamshack hotline. I may or may not answer it if you call. I'm not much of a serial yapper. So if you call and have a question, I'm going to give you an answer, and we're going to move on with our lives. We're not girls. Just saying. No offense, Renee. I didn't mean it that way. I meant we're not like high school girls.
Right. Right. Teenage.
To hangs up on me. I mean, we just don't talk a lot to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. We do this.
You
This
could
is fun.
always tell To's like, okay, are you done talking? You're done talking. You're done talking. Okay, bye.
Here.
Okay, bye.
I gotta pee, man. I gotta pee.
Yeah. Ape will just tell you that. Ape will just be like, I gotta go, boys. Gotta pee. And he clicks the button and doesn't even say nothing.
So our boy Evan Barchak is
Evan.
asking if I'm gonna be in Rosenberg on Saturday. I believe, and I'm not a Texan long enough to know all of the geography around here, but I believe he's talking about the Houston Hamfest area, and I will be there Saturday. I'm not sure if I'm going down early Saturday morning or if I'm going down Friday and hanging out overnight. Haven't figured all that out yet, but I'll be down there Saturday for sure. So if you're there, call and say hi, Evan. Good to see you again. And Frank, apparently some people aren't appreciative of Chip's stuff. I will tell you this, Chip is awesome. I love Chip. Chip has a personality that is basically tired of doing level one help desk stuff. And
Yes.
Jim's got that 1,000-yard stare. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you've ever done level one help desk
Every
stuff,
day of my life.
how do I right click my mouse? And this used to be a thing because now mice don't have any buttons at all. It's just a blur on the top of your mouse and you just push where you think you should push and magic happens. How do I right click my mouse? So I used to tell people, pick up your mouse, put it on the other side, use your left hand, and click the button that comes under your index finger. Oh, that. And this was the best I could do after a half an hour of explaining of hamsplaining the right button. I know, I clicked the correct button. No, the button on the right. Yes, I used the right button. No, the button on the right of the mouse. And on and on and on it goes. And you get this about 7,000 times a day, and you get a little tired of it. So Chip does a lot of work. Chip's a very busy guy, and I totally support everything that Chip does. He's an awesome dude. And he watches sometimes, so, like he's going to hear me say this, and he knows that I know what he's doing because we've been
And
there.
I think I made Chip mad one time. Somebody asked me about M17 in the Discord. And Chip, if you watch this, love you, brother. WPSD is the schnizzle for Wizzle. My comment about M17 is it's a digital mode like D-Star and YSF and Fusion and NXDN and P25. I've played with all of them except M17 because I don't have any hardware. And I don't feel that M17 is going to really, really take off until somebody can produce some commercial radios for it. And ARDC is working with the M17 people to help them get there. But yeah, I don't know. And
It's a long uphill battle.
from a talking on it standpoint, not from how efficient the protocol is, or it sends less packets, or it uses quadrature amplitude modulation instead of frequency shift keying,
Qualm.
whatever, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's something you're talking into. And having played, when I got into ham, I played with P25 and NXDN and all of them. And it's like 6 and 1 1/2 dozen the other. And M17 may be the greatest thing since sliced white bread, but until there's commercial radios, it's like, okay, you've got M17, and I know you can hack an MD380.
Yep.
Go with God.
I want to see how they solve the code plug problem. They probably do it Yaesu style where there isn't one, or D-Star style where there isn't as much of one. But the DMR code plug adapted to ham radio is the nightmare that we all deserve for trying to adapt DMR to ham radio.
Which is part of the problem with P25 and NXDN is there's a lot of similarities between DMR code plugs and those other two modes as well.
It makes sense when you hired Peter to sit in his cave in the basement, in the sub basement, and program all the radios for everybody on the team.
Right.
Go to channel 3 means something.
Right.
We don't have to go to channel 3. We took that a long way. So different Peter, by the way, not this Peter. Peter says Hotspot 4 supports D-Star cross modes. Use your D-Star transceiver to access DMR, C4FM, NXDN networks.
OpenSpot, that's what he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was OpenSpot. Or your DMR, C4FM, NXDN transceiver, and blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so
yes.
Yes, it
OpenSpots are
does,
awesome.
but Peter, don't confuse cross mode with cross-linked modes. They are not the same thing. Cross mode means, for example, WPSD does that, and so does PyStar, and has for a long time. Cross mode means I can key up on my Fusion, my FT5D, and talk on the DMR talk group, right? That's what cross mode does. Yes, the OpenSpot does that. The OpenSpot 3 did that. Maybe the 2, I don't know. I never had one of those. So that's cross mode. What we were talking about earlier, and you may or may not have been thinking this, but I just want to be clear. We're cross linking the modes together at the same time. So whether you key up on Fusion or D-Star eventually, or P25 or whatever, they're all going to the same place. So if you're monitoring Toad's digital on D-Star like Ham Radio Tube wants to do, and I'm monitoring Toad's digital on Fusion because I got my FT5D or something, it doesn't matter. We're all going to hear the same talk group at the same time. So that's cross-mode linking, which is not the same as cross-moding your transmission.
And we're only being pedantic for the sake of explanation.
Yes.
This stuff is ridiculously complicated for reasons that only some hams will understand.
And I'm smiling. If you think I'm grumpy, this is not my grumpy face. This is my resting.
He's got
old
RBF.
man face.
Yeah, he's got RBF.
Resting. Yeah, that's right. That too.
RHF, resting ham face.
Right.
Oh, I just coined a new one. There we go.
Yeah, we go. I like it. See, I'm smiling now.
Yeah. See, James, we need a T-shirt. I have resting ham face. This is this is a quirky QRP shirt here, right here.
That's right. That's beautiful.
You could link Hamshack hotline to Toads. We could.
We can. Scanner Junkie, one freaking problem at a time, son. Y'all killing me. I want to. I think that's a great idea. We actually, Steve and I talked about this like a year ago when we were playing with Hamshack hotline on his show right here. And it's great, and I would love to do it because it's already kind of a thing you can do, and you can key up with the phone and unkey with the phone with a couple buttons, like a conference call kind of system.
Yeah. So Don is asking a question, and Don, we did a show on this, and you can get yourself into Hamshack hotline for less than $50, I want to say. Well, you got
to shop carefully.
Yeah, and it's a minefield. So Hamshack hotline is literally a telephone and a Cisco voice over IP or SIP phone that you sit on your desk
while you're talking
and plug into your network with an actual Cat5 Ethernet cable. And once you get some programming, and the programming is super simple. We did a live stream on it a long time ago. You can then pick up your phone and dial Jim's phone number and talk. Now, where it makes the bridge to ham is you can also pick up your phone, dial a number, and get on DMR and talk to DMR. Or you can get on D-Star, or you can get on AllStar, or you can get on, press a certain extension and just listen to FM radio all day long. They play classical music.
Right.
But it's a thing that hams can do. It's hams being hams, and I think it's awesome. I don't have a use for it, but I think it's awesome.
I was going to share that out. So we'll get to that in a second. Hamshack Hotline, on their website, hamshackhotline.com, and I'm going to show you the webpage in a second, has a certified equipment list of specific models of phones. It's a VoIP, voice over IP phone system like a lot of companies use these days. So it works over the network, internet, whatever. It works with any VoIP phone, probably, but they don't support every VoIP phone for sure. Which means if you are smart enough to set it up on your own, they don't care. If you buy one of the phones on their We Support These list, then the setup is typing a certain URL into the web browser. It downloads the config to the phone automatically. Automagically. And Bob's your uncle, you're on.
Hey, Tim.
You're done. Freddie just said something about Polycom phones. I have a metric ton of Polycom phones in my office in boxes of our old phones, our old VoIP phones, and it's on my to-do list to maybe play with one day. But there are a ton of specific models of phones, most of them Cisco phones, that you can get on Fleabay for under $100. I got a fancy one that has Bluetooth, so I can actually answer that phone with my phone. And the other thing about Hamshack Hotline that's cool is once you have a phone with Hamshack Hotline, they will let you have a soft phone as well. I think you have to pay for the app, if I remember. I'm not sure. But I can call Joe Brett's Hamshack Hotline, and he's on Hamshack. I can call Freddie. I can call, I think it's 8,000. No, that's not right. I don't remember the number. But anything that is connected to Hamshack Hotline, I can also call from their app. So like there's the BBC, like T.O. said, there's several there are radio stations that they're piping.
Your phone's ringing.
That would be Mr. Joseph Brett. Well, it said missed call now.
Well, I was wondering if it was going to be Balmer Mike. Mike's saying that the SPA
That's what I've got. Yeah.
525G2 is the one to get, and there is a phone. I think I'm going to share your screen while you're doing that.
Yeah.
If you
Call me again, Joe.
There is a phone. I think this is the one that they're talking about that has this color graphical display, and you can do all kinds of banners and neat stuff on it. And then there's the one that I had, which is just like a 2-line LCD display. And then it's very ham adjacent. So Eric says he doesn't get it. There's no radio involved. You can connect to a radio from
Hey,
it.
buddy.
Tell me to call you back.
Well, you called me and then you hung up on me, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
Oh, okay. Well, you owed me this because I called you during your show, so now you're calling me during Steve's show, but that's okay.
Yeah. And it's a fantastic
That's right.
accessory to have.
I don't want to come on the show, but I'll answer your call.
Right. You will never. We have tried to get Joe Brett to fill in for missing car people multiple times. And every time Joe Brett has a valid excuse like, I have to wash my socks or I have excessive toe jam this week and I can't make it to the show. He just turns me down all the time. So I don't.
Clean the couch,
Tim, yes, you can.
Do what? Got to clean the couch on the porch or something.
Right, looking for change in the porch couch. That's right. Thank you, brother. See you, man.
Yeah, man.
Bye. So you can do that. You can make that phone call with your hard device or the phone. So it's pretty cool.
Extra by April, Don. You got this.
And now Evan Barsnack is calling me. I'm not answering anymore, guys. I can't do the phone and the show at the same time. Evan, I don't know that I like you well enough to answer the call in the middle of our show.
I've seen what you do during our members-only chats. Speaking of members-only chats, Don has gifted 5 memberships. Looks
Awesome.
like Mike G0RFD got one, Chris Bricker got one, The Damned got one, Ronald Collins got one, and George KC1TQF got one. So keep an eye on the channel. It should be next Wednesday. If not, it's going to be the Wednesday after that. But you will see a message on the community tab that gives you the instructions on how to get in to the members only live stream.
Yeah.
And it's a private Zoom call. It's not on the internet or anything like that, which is why none of y'all have seen it unless you're a member.
Got to be in the champagne room to know about the champagne room.
Is there a Hamshack phone book?
Yes, there is. On the website. Let's see. Add to stage, Hamshack hotline, phone books, users' phone books. So you can put in a user search and then you can type in a call sign or name.
K5YVY. Let his phone ring. Him and Evan, they'll get stuck talking all night.
Oh, let's just do that. What is Evan? KG1AGP? Something like that.
Oh, he doesn't put his call sign in his YouTube handle.
Let's see. Let's try last name. So there's Joe's.
Joseph. And so he's got 2. One of those is his physical phone, his hard phone. Another one is his software only phone, his soft phone. That's on his Android.
So there's all sorts of ways, and they have a bunch of information on here. They have a help ticket system. These guys are pretty fast, much faster than Brandmeister to answer their support tickets, I will say. So pretty cool. No, it is not real radio. It is voice over IP phones, but it's nerdy and I like it.
It's one of those things that ham should do is embrace technology and play with all the things and connect all the things to RF that weren't supposed to be connected to RF. This is how we got iPads. This is how we got tablets, folks. This is how we got smartphones. Somebody decided to make something that nobody knew what the use for it was, and we all figured it out. Oh, there's Evan. Call Evan.
I'm kind of jealous that Evan has a 4-digit number. That sucks. What is that number? Let me look at the real.
4770.
Hi, I'm not available. Please leave me a message.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Oh, now he's calling me back. Hey, you know you sound like Eeyore in that voicemail message, right?
Hello?
Hey, I'm not
Yeah, probably need to
available.
change it.
Leave
Oh, and
me
I've
a
had Hamshack hotline
message.
forever.
He sounded like somebody was, never mind. Anyway, now you're famous. Your number's up on the screen, so
I know.
everybody testing their Hamshack hotline can call you.
Thanks for noticing me.
Tell Steve that Rosenberg is Houston Hamfest.
Awesome.
Rosenberg
Heard
is
ya.
Houston. He can hear you. All right, Evan. Thank you, buddy.
So there was somebody at Quartzfest that had a desk phone sitting out in front of their tent in the middle of the desert, and it worked. I'm suspecting it was Hamshack Hotline somehow. I just don't know how.
The 525G, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, it's Wi-Fi?
is Wi-Fi. Yes.
It's Wi-Fi. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm way behind on comments again. Are you still got starred questions to work on there?
I think we're out of starred questions.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
We're done.
How far in are we? Oh, it's almost the end of the show anyway.
Oh, but Jason, I didn't see this one. Jason wanted TetraLink right after NXDN and P25 and Hamshack Hotline and APRS
Thank you, Jason.
and DPRS.
And Hamshack. Oh, you said that. Yeah.
And FM and Echolink.
Christopher, I guess you're answering port forwarding questions, is what you're saying there?
I think he's talking about level 1 tech support.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Bless your heart, because I hate that. Let's see. Resting ham face. We're famous now with that, Steve. You're good on that one.
Resting ham face. Awesome.
I think James needs to make a resting ham face.
Y'all heard it here first. James, I'll send you a copy of my logo to put on the shirt.
Yeah, guys, if you the phone thing, almost any SIP phone will work. You just need to know what you're doing to set them up. They don't support the auto setup feature on some of those other phones, and the list is on their website. You can find it in there of supported phones, but it'll work with almost any SIP phone.
Chris, if you have a clear view of the northern sky, 100% clear, I bet you can do Starlink and get rid of all of the other funky services that aren't working. And then deal with how Starlink has CGNet, which causes other problems in and of itself.
Right. CGNet is kind of a pain in the butt if you have to deal with it. There's ways around it. It just depends on what you're trying to do. So,
Garth, that's got to be a cheap phone, because I can't pronounce that. Yealink?
Yealink.
T46S?
Oh, that'd be a cool name. Yeatlink. I like that.
To go with your Yeet cannon. PC
Right.
liquidation, $54.99, refurbished.
So this will interact with Arden or other mesh. Well, it'll interact with DMR too. We know that because there are DMR talk groups linked on Hamshack Hotline you can dial into.
That's what I need. I need a grade A refurbished gigabit IP speakerphone.
Doesn't everyone?
Well, I mean it's gigabit because it's got the port on the back to connect to your computer.
Right.
Because it's in the office.
Let's see.
So one port on the wall to the phone, and then one port on the phone to your computer, so your wired network. T48G, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think that some of those, that IP6000 is a conference phone that looks like a spaceship. Because we have several of those at work still.
I don't know of the skinny you speak of. The protocol for VoIP phones?
Yeah, I've heard the term before. I don't exactly know what it is either.
Well, so folks, this is how we do a successful episode of Ham Nuggets. We just talk about the troubles that we're having, and we are successful at having troubles. So we're successful at having this show, and you've made it to the end of another successful Ham Nuggets episode. I don't get to say that very often.
Right.
Don is lost in thought. Jim is lost in thought.
No, Jim was reading comments because there's a lot of comments. I was. If anybody has any stroke with Brandmeister, I'd love the help.
Brandmeister, if you're watching, yeah.
Brandmeister, if
Love
you're
to have you
watching,
on.
I'm going to make an offering to the Brandmeister gods right after this show. Just because I would like this to work so it can quit annoying me on a regular basis. I had a brief, what I thought was an epiphany, and it was not. I had a moment over the weekend when I thought that possibly instead of using the 3104 master like I had told them to, they were on 3102 because I changed it and I thought I saw different messages. So for a moment, there was one shining moment when I thought I saw a light at the end of the tunnel, but then I was mistaken and it was a freight train about to hit me. That's what the light was. But it should take them literally 5 minutes or less to make this change. So I don't know.
Hopeful.
Well, Frank,
Right.
Choo Choo Frank, not Frank Tank, but California
Foamer Frank. Say it right.
Foamer
Foamer Frank.
Foamer Frank, right, has, oh, Garth. All right. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Garth.
Foamer Frank has got a contact that he's reached out to, and we're trying to see if we can work something that way.
Yep, that one's still loud. Thank
Yeah.
you, Don.
Wake up, people.
And on that note, I'm going to hit the button. Thank you all.
See you guys. Appreciate it.